All right, welcome everybody to the first talk of the day for B-Sides Rhode Island. This is our main program in this room here where we bring in people from all over the country from distances very far away. So luckily today we have Josh Wright, who was able to fight through TSA and airports and all those kind of things and make it all the way from East Providence, Rhode Island. So, Josh is an instructor with SANS, very well known, very well liked, very well reviewed. Everybody loves him. I heard lots of people that are all excited for this talk today. With SANS, he teaches the mobile security class, wireless security class, and I get a little bit nervous when I go down to Cheesecake Factory and they give me little poster kind of pagers, and he's there as well because they know mayhem is going to happen.
I'll talk a little bit more.
Okay, good. So today we're looking forward to Josh telling us all about having fun with your neighbors. Josh Wright.
Thank you. So I'm not originally from Rhode Island. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm a transplant. I've lived here for 20 years now, but I'm still a transplant. I'll always be a transplant. My kids actually were born here. They're natives, but people always tell me I'll never be around native. Thank you. Thank everybody for coming out. It's great to see all these folks out here and some interest in the Rhode Island InfoSec community. It's great to see you guys on a Saturday morning at 9:15. So I have some fun stuff that I want to talk about. This presentation is a little bit different from some of the presentations I've done before. It's going to be mostly demoed and just really having fun, kind of a more casual thing than a deep dive, explode your head kind of technical conversation. But we'll see how you guys like it. So this is not exactly a normal talk. You're going to see other talks this week, and they're going to have some themes around defense, how to deal with DDoS attacks, like the guys in the next track. There'll be talks about forensics and doing forensic analysis on systems. There'll be talk about intrusion detection. There'll be talks about pen testing, and those are all wonderful things. This is not any of those. Okay, this is not a talk about any of these topics. This is a talk about revenge. Okay, that's what we're here to discuss today. It's my revenge. Okay, that's what I want to discuss. Now, I'm not normally a vengeful person. I'm kind of a friendly guy, and I know my neighbors, and I'm friendly with a bunch of people. I travel a lot. It's great. But when you cross me, things go sour. Okay, don't cross me. Okay, that's not a recommendation. Now, I don't recommend that you actually do that to your neighbor's power meters. I was in the hospital for a while after that. It didn't work out well for me, okay? So don't do that with a hacksaw. That's not really the recommended practice. All right? Here's my dilemma. My neighbors are stealing from me, right? And I live on a little peninsula. The homes are pretty close together because the community used to be like a little summer cottage village. And, I realized that, my neighbors were actually stealing from me. They picked the wrong person to steal from, clearly, okay? Because they were stealing my internet access. And you guys might know me. My website is willhackthesushi.com. Paul took a picture of me when I was a lot thinner years ago, okay, when we did that, okay? They were stealing my internet access. Now, I do a lot of wireless security research, I do a lot of mobile device security research, and I've got a bunch of wireless access points at my house for this specific purpose. And I have a couple of open access points as well. One of them went by the SSID Victor Timco, right? Vic Tim, okay? So Victor Timco was my open wireless access point that I was running at my house for testing different attacks and things like that. And it turned out that a lot of my neighbors were jumping onto that network to get access to my Fios internet connection. And I was just running ArcWatch, because ArcWatch is like an old classic tool, but it's awesome. ArcWatch just sniffs on a regular interface. It doesn't need like a tap port or anything or a span port. It just looks for ARC broadcasts and it builds a database. Have I seen this MAC address before? And I have ArcWatch configured so that when new devices show up, they page me and it shows up on my Pebble Watch. Sexy, right? Yeah, Pebble Watch, see? Okay? It shows up on my Pebble Watch, okay? So I was getting these messages saying that people were joining my network, which appeared to be like Sony devices, I think that's like a PlayStation Portable perhaps, or, different laptops, different Macs, joining my open network and getting access to the internet. Now, what do you do about that? What do you do when people are stealing your internet access at home? Well, I thought about it for a little while, and there's a couple things that I could do. I could shut it down. I could turn off that access point and not give anybody access to the network. I could do MAC address filtering. I could isolate it so they can't get anything, or only, permit specific source IP addresses. But what's the fun in that? No, I wanted to take advantage of this situation. I wanted to have fun with this. So what I ended up doing was investing in a second internet connection, okay? So I have 2 internet connections now, and one of them is dedicated just for my neighbors in this specific network. I bought some high-gain antennas, and I situated them outside, okay? I actually, went on the roof, I had these things installed, nice, ran it down into my office, and my whole neighborhood is blanketed with this open wireless access point that anybody can join on to, okay? It got a little out of control really quickly, I think, okay? Now, I'm giving them internet access, but I'm manipulating their access to the internet, okay? Now, this whole thing costs me money. The equipment I have to buy, the monthly cable access, right? What I'm buying is an endless source of entertainment for myself, okay? And I find it hysterical watching these people access the internet, seeing and knowing what's going on behind the scenes. I laugh every time I think about it, and that's why I'm here today. I want to share that with you guys so you can do that as well. Is this legal though, okay? Is it legal for me to host a network and to manipulate people's internet access? My philosophy, and first of all, I'll say that I'm not a lawyer and I'm not attractive enough to play one on TV. It's my network. I can do whatever I want with my network, right? If they're stealing from me, then that's their tough luck. I can do what I want with my own network. Now, whether or not that's really legal, Matlock says that it's fine, but Matlock is not really my attorney, so I don't really know. Okay, so before you do this on your own, consult your own attorney about this. Okay? Now, this has been done before, okay? Pete Stevens had something called the upside down Turnet, okay? Which is short for internet, okay? I didn't know that for a long time. What is a Turnet? I didn't know. Oh, it's like internet, okay? So, Pete Stevens did the upside down Turnet, where he flipped people's pictures upside down when they were on his network. And that was great. And then later, Got Milk did a similar attack, but he did it in like a man-in-the-middle style fashion, where he was abusing his co-workers by using Ettercap and doing man-in-the-middle attacks that way. Even XKCD covered this with the neighborhood scamp. So the neighborhood scamps there are on the wireless network, and Mrs. Roberts, she cooks and with an oven mitt breaks into SSH sessions and stuff like that, okay? Because she rocks, okay? You've been moving pretty hard, man. You might want to sit down, okay? Now, this is all wonderful. This has been done before, and it's great, but it was much harder than I thought it should have been. And what I wanted to do was make it easy, so everybody could do this, okay? Now, that has had some negative consequences that I'll share with you in just a couple of minutes, okay? Now, I am much more devious than Pete. Pete did some interesting stuff, the Got Milk guys did some interesting stuff, but I'm evil. Like I want this to be an ongoing thing where we're constantly introducing new ways to modify traffic. Got Milk and Pete did this thing where they're always doing all modifications to all traffic, and that's an easy way to get people to stop using your network. Now, I want to push the barrier of this network is still attractive enough for them to use, but I'm still able to manipulate it. Because I don't want them to go away. I want them to keep using this network now. So that's a fine line that we have to balance there. I spent a lot of time thinking about that, okay? So, what I did was I put together a simple VMware virtual machine called I Love My Neighbors, okay? You download I Love My Neighbors, you plug in a supported wireless card, and that's it. You run a script, and now you can manipulate everybody's internet access that's coming through your own internet connection, however your internet connection is set up. Okay? So what I'm doing is, this is me. I'm the attacker here. Okay, I'm the guy right there. Okay, and I have my little wireless access point, my wireless card being driven by the VMware guest operating system. I have the neighborhood scamps on the left here. Okay, and they're joining my wireless network. They're getting access to the internet. But on my network, on that VMware system, I'm using a transparent proxy to Squid, the open source Squid proxy server. And whenever they go through my network, I'm manipulating their traffic using a bunch of Perl scripts that I developed. Okay. Now, if you've used Squid proxy before, it's an amazing tool. It's got all this wonderful and really fun functionality. With Squid proxy, there's something called a URL rewrite directive. With Squid proxy, you can say, for any URL that comes to the proxy server, pass it to this script. And the script can choose to just return that URL as is, or it can manipulate that URL. So in your little script that's getting these URLs, you can retrieve the file, modify it, and then deliver a local version of it to the victim, or redirect them to another website, or manipulate content in whatever way you deem necessary, whatever way you want to manipulate that traffic. We can do that with the Squid proxy server. Now this is a really straightforward, really easy way to be able to do some really fun but also very evil things. Okay? Sorry, okay, all right. So the best part is that the user doesn't know that the site has been compromised. When the Squid proxy rewrites a URL, even if I send them a completely different resource, they see the original URL they requested, not the rewritten resource. So they think that the site they're browsing to has been exploited or manipulated, not that something in the middle is doing that. And that's just a great source of being able to perpetuate the attack and to continue to get entertainment out of it. So we take the URL from the user, perhaps we download their requested content to a local file, we manipulate it, and then we deliver them the manipulated file instead of the original content, okay? Now, knowing some regular expressions is very helpful here. So one of the first scripts I did was, anytime anybody Googled anything, it modified their Google search query to add "in my pants" to the end of it. So, Zooey Deschanel, in my pants, whatever, right? Kim Kardashian, in Paul's pants, okay? Whatever, okay? Not my pants, okay? So, knowing regular expressions is very helpful here, but you don't have to know regular expressions to be able to develop this stuff. It's just a nice way to be able to enhance and further customize the experience for the end user. A big thing that we can do is with image manipulation. So, for Linux, there's a package called ImageMagick, M-A-G-I-C-K. And ImageMagick comes with a bunch of tools to manipulate images from a command line. So there's the convert utility, which converts from one image format to another. There's also the Mogrify tool. And the Mogrify tool can be used to resize, blur, crop, despeckle, dither, draw, flip, join, resample, and much more. So what we can do with this Mogrify tool is we can say, all right, somebody's requesting an image. I download that image locally using my Squid script. On that local image, I run Mogrify to manipulate it, and then I deliver that manipulated image to the victim. Now, for example, I'm using Mogrify here, and I'm annotating at 32 pixels by 80 pixels, XY. This is my tinfoil hat, okay? I went to culinary school. My tinfoil hat is a chef's coat, okay? This is how I roll, okay? So you can modify people's images, you can manipulate the content, you can do whatever you want with this tool. And this is just a really cool command line tool to have available, okay? If you're defacing websites, if you're manipulating content from a compromised site, Mogrify is really valuable, really cool tool to have, and it gives us a lot of opportunity here. Now, there's some things we need to decide upon. If you're going to do an imposter network, what SSID should you use? What do you think?
Join me.
Join me? Okay, join me. I mean, it's a little, it's a little sexual, but that's okay. That's all right. That's what you're into. I'm fine with that, all right? Okay? We could do Linksys. Linksys, everybody's favorite hotspot. It's a little cliche, but it's not bad, okay? You could do ATT Wi-Fi, okay? Now, when I got here this morning, there was only like 5 people in the room. I actually started my little demo thing, and I was using the SSID ATT Wi-Fi, and 8 people connected to me automatically, okay? And it's just, everybody loves ATT Wi-Fi. Every iPhone, every iPad in the world connects to ATT Wi-Fi. I started up, I have a little MiFi, and I started it up, and it used ATT Wi-Fi as the SSID at the airport. And then I couldn't even get on my network because it reached a limit of 10 people immediately, okay? So, you know, that's a very popular network. If you want people to join, ATT Wi-Fi is a great way to go. Now, some people are concerned that crosses the legal barrier, that you're impersonating ATT Wi-Fi, and that could go badly for you. I don't really care about that. But, you know, some people do, okay? That's it. All right. So what we do is, we connect the host to the internet. Now, I'm using Brown's wired network here for access to the network. Gentlemen, who let me borrow their Ethernet cable so I know to return it properly? He left. Okay, so, he left, so, okay, great. I was going to say, if you were gone, I was going to keep it. All right, so this is a very nice, it's actually a very nice cable, okay? So thank you for letting me borrow that cable, sir. You know, I'm using Brown's wired internet access. You could use a wireless network as well. So if you're in the airport, you connect to their wireless network, you offer your own wireless network. But sometimes wireless networks do something called client isolation, and then you're not able to bridge other people to that network, and that gets a little messy. So wired is definitely the most convenient way to go, and that's how I do it at home. If you were out and about, you could probably use wireless network, and you'd have to test out on a case-by-case basis. You log in as root with the password SEC617, named after my science class. You plug in your wireless card, and you run the neighbor script. And the neighbor script lists you all the services that it has for attacks. And then you run neighbor, your wireless card, your Ethernet card, and then the attack you want to run. It starts everything that it needs to, the DHCP server, the SQUID proxy server, it starts a web server, it starts everything necessary, IP tables, and configures your own wireless network ready to wreak havoc on unsuspecting victims. Okay? So let's take a look at this here. So I have my VM up and booted here. I can't really do much about the font, sorry about that. But when I run the neighbor script, it lists all the different plugins that we've configured so far for the neighbor tool. Now, this is where you guys come in, because every time I do this talk, people come up to me with new ideas on new evil things that we can do, and that's my favorite. I love that, okay? So, you know, afterwards, catch me or email me or text me on my Apple Watch, and, you know, let me know, okay? And I'll be, you know, glad to add them myself, or if you want to contribute, that's great as well. You know, we've got things like ASCII images. Turns every image anybody downloads into ASCII art, okay? Do you guys know Kim Kardashian? Do you know who she is? Okay? She's from such high quality works as Keeping Up with the Kardashians, okay? It's wonderful, Ryan Seacrest production. She looks identical in ASCII art and in real life. This is a big blur, okay? It's like you don't really know what's going on. It's all boob and lips, and you don't, that's it, okay? That's the whole thing, Kim Kardashian, okay? You know, we've got a bunch of other plugins. Any requests? Where should we start with?
No airports.
Okay, you're not ready for that. Okay. We might do that, but I don't know because I'm a little concerned about that. Okay.
Roll. Fight Club.
All right. Well, let's do Fight Club. Okay. So I'm going to run neighbor. Okay. I have a wireless card plugged into my system here. It's set up as WLAN 2 on my system, Ethernet 0, and then fightclub.pl. Okay? And so what it does is it sets the IP address on the wireless interface. It starts the DHCP server. It starts the SQUID proxy server. It does a little cleanup of temporary files. And then it starts up the host APD software, which actually creates my SSID. Now, I'm using the SSID Victor Timco, but of course you can change that to ATT Wi-Fi, Linksys, Join Me, okay? You know, whatever perverted SSIDs you want to use, okay? So, with that said, all right. So my system here has automatically joined the Victor Timco network, and I'm going to open my web browser. Now, I should point out, one thing I decided with this tool is that I would never mess with SSL connections. If it's SSL, I don't do anything with it. I just let it slide, okay? That's just, you know, that I really don't want to get into people's SSL sessions and start seeing passwords and stuff like that. You know, I don't want to see what's in people's Amazon purchase histories because that kind of scares me, okay, you know. So I don't want any of that. So I don't do that. But anything that's not encrypted, okay, a friend of mine once told me, whenever you do a demo, say nothing about what it is that you're doing other than watch this. And then whatever happens is exactly what you wanted to have happen. All right, let's try, I'm going to stop the Fight Club plugin. I don't know why that's not working. And I'm going to try flip images. Okay. Now I'm going to lose my wireless access here because I'm restarting the access point. I'm restarting everything actually. Invicta Tim goes back online and now it's connected again, okay? And now every image just is flipped upside down, okay? Everything is, you know, upside down. It's weird. It's, you know, kind of meta like that. Okay. All right. So, you know, that's kind of entertaining. You know, that's kind of funny. You know, that's great. Okay? Let's try some others. Let's say
Canada.
We will do Canada, sir. We will. All right, so I'm going to start to do the ASCII images plugin next here. Okay, server started. Oh, I see others of you are also connected to the Timco network. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I don't know how to spell Kim Kardashian. Look at, you know, there's Kim, right? There's Chloe, and there's the other one, you know? I don't know, right? These are all these, you know. I don't really know anything about any of these things, but. Look at that, that's Bruce Jenner. Like, you can tell, like, you know you know who that is. That's great, okay? All right. So this is the fun of this, right? We can do whatever we want with any of these attacks. We can manipulate any of the traffic to cause all sorts of creative and interesting things to happen. The problem with things like this and other plugins is that they're a little too obvious, okay? Like something is really, you know, not right here. So if I start Canada, I'll start the Canada plugin next here. All right, and the network's up now, and you can see I'm joined. Right? Every single picture, right? No matter where you go to. I taught a class in Canada once, and it was a wireless class. And we were talking about, in wireless frames, there's something called the traffic indication map. It's used to let a client know when it's gone to a power conservation state that it's buffered packets waiting for it at the AP. And so there's like a bit map that's called the TIM bit, okay? And when the client's TIM bit is set, then it knows to retrieve traffic. And I'm talking about this, and I'm saying the Timbit, and this class in Canada is laughing uproariously. Like, they can't stop. You know, like, I don't understand what's so funny about the Timbit. Apparently in Canada, Timbit is like Tim Hortons bits, okay? Which is like a munchkin. It's like a munchkin, okay? But I said, you know, that doesn't really cross the north-south line there. Tim Hortons bits means something very different. You know? I'm just saying. All right. Okay. So, you know, those plugins are all very fun and everything, but they let the victim know that there's something going on that's evil, you know, very quickly, okay? There's another one I wrote called Blur Images, okay? And the Blur Images plugin blurs pictures. Every time you download a picture, it makes it a little blurry. But I wanted to be a little more creative, a little more devious about it. I just didn't want to show people a big blur of pictures. I mean, unless you're looking at Kim Kardashian, you're going to know that it's blurry, okay? If it's Kim Kardashian, you won't know because it's just all blue. You won't know, okay? So, I'm not obsessed, just so you know, okay? All right. Shoot, now I have all these important pictures here. Okay. So it's refreshing all the pictures now. So, you know, you see these pictures and they look, you know, they look fine. They don't look, you know, too blurry. I mean, that looks a little blurry, but it's the shot is bad, you know. It's just fine. But on the server side, when you're running the Blur Images plugin, there's a little timer that gets kicked off, okay? And the timer's job is to make the image more and more blurry over time. So the longer you're on my network, the more and more blurry pictures get. Okay? So right now, the blur metric is set at 0, 1. I'm going to change the blur metric to 10 instead of just waiting for it there. And now pictures are a little more blurry, okay? And these are legitimately blurry pictures here, okay? And you know, we can make it, you know, a little more blurry. Okay? You know, and over time, you know, we just get blurrier and blurrier pictures. And, you know, we're just looking at the same page here, but, you know, if you go to... You know, and then it's funny because I'm picturing people like wiping off their screens or like cleaning their glasses or they're looking and what the hell is going on? You know, they can't figure it out. I'm trying to work on introducing blurry fonts too, like the WAV files, right, that you could do with CSS, but I haven't quite figured that part out yet, okay? But you know, so that's fun and everything. Have you guys seen Kitten War? No? Wow, you were in for a treat, okay? So there's a site called Kitten War, okay? And in this next script, what I do is I redirect people to the Kitten War website 1 out of every approximately 10 web requests that they do, okay? So just randomly, I redirect them, and it might not be in 10 because it's a random number. It might be 1, it might be 100, you know, who knows, okay? And so I redirect them to all of these, to the Kitten War website. So, okay, first time, okay, I went right there, okay? Now this is the Kitten War website, okay? How many of you have seen Kitten War before? It's an awesome website. It's 2 pictures of kittens that fight to the death, okay? No, they don't really fight, okay? You choose which is the cuter kitten. And clearly it's Allison here, okay? Let's get this weird growth thing, I don't know. And this, oh, and click. Look at this little collar. Oh my goodness, okay? And next thing you know, it's 8 hours later, okay? Where's the day gone, right? You just spent hours. And it's funny because I'll send people to this website, and then Squid Proc Server logs, they stay on this website forever. They stay on their website, browsing Kitten Wars, and then they go to, I gotta see what's going on with, Kim Kardashian, and they, go to a different website, and then, they get redirected back to Kitten War after a couple of links. I don't know what I'm clicking on here. I'm just clicking on I'm not doing that. Of course, the first link went, but no subsequent links will actually go. Anyway, so that's a lot of fun, and I have fun with these things, creating these scripts, and just watching people connect to the network and to see what I can do to them. Okay? Did we? Oh, this is a fun one too. So. Sometimes I get, depending on my mood, I'll do things that are just evil, So I've got one that, I'll tell you the name of it in just a second, okay? So we're restarting the server here. It'll come up in just a second. Okay. Joining the Victor Timko network here. I'm on the network, okay? And so what this plugin does is that every time you try to browse to Google, it sends you to Bing, okay? Anytime, no Google, Bing for you, okay? No, always Bing, okay? That's just rude, that's just, I can't let that run, I feel bad for people. Oh, I'm forcing you to, what the hell is going on there? I don't know, okay? Something about Sharapova's outfit, I don't know. So, we've been developing these plugins, and I say we because I've started to get people emailing me ideas. The Canada one was definitely a student from Canada suggested that to me. And you can do things like, there's the replace images Perl script. You can just take these Perl scripts, copy and rename them, and then, make it do something different, like the Rickroll. Oh, there's the Time Machine plugin. The Time Machine plugin uses the archive.org Wayback Machine. So if you go to like the BBC website, it downloads the BBC website from 10 years ago and shows you that content instead, okay? So you're getting news, you think you're all up to date on stuff, it's just you're stuck in history, okay? Things like that. People being redirected to useless websites. There is you can do a porn one, certainly, you can do whatever you want, okay? There's actually I haven't turned it on, there's one called Porn Rules, and it won't let you browse to any website unless it has porn in the title, okay? So you only get porn. Any other website, you get nothing. If you go to a porn site, fine, okay? That's permitted. It's like an anti-website filter, okay? There is the No Airports plugin. I don't know if you guys are really ready for this though. I worry that you guys are going to think poorly of me, but now I'm going to tell you this first, okay? Do not do this plugin at an airport where I am present, okay? If you want to do it on your own, that's up to you. Nobody's twisting your arm. But if I am anywhere near or planning to leave that airport at any given time, no, you're not allowed to use this plugin. It's in the copyrights, okay? So you can't do that, okay? This is what the No Airport plugin does. You're going to Slashdot, you're looking at submissions, you're browsing different things. That's it. That's all it does. Okay? That's all it does. Okay? Don't do that at an airport, okay? Because what's going to happen is somebody's going to take their laptop and they're going to go, ah! And then they're going to throw it. And they're going to shut the place down. And then they're going to be like, you know, Joshua, right? Please report to the nearest security officer. You know, and I don't want that, okay? So don't do that at an airport, okay? Please, for my sake. See, and I love that. You guys are like, oh, I got a sick idea. This is awesome. Okay, all right. So, you know, where else could we do this? You know, you could do it at airports. You could do it at coffee shops. You could do it at restaurants. You know, people have talked to me. Oh, I live in a condo. It would be awesome, or an apartment building, or a dormitory where you could set this up, and all sorts of evil havoc could ensue. You know, I often think, I wish I know then what I know now, because when I was a 19-year-old kid in the dorm, if I could have sniffed the network and, you know, eavesdropped on people's conversations and stuff like that, I would have had all the chicks, man. I would have been all, people would have loved me, okay? Because I would have known everything. You know, as soon as that restraining order was lifted, that would be all right. You know, use some sense when doing this, okay? This is all fun, and I do it at home, and I think it's great. Is it legal? Is it right? You know, there are all sorts of moral boundaries that everybody has to tackle in their own lives, okay? You do what you think is right, but, you know, use caution with some of these things, especially that airport business, because I don't want to go to jail, okay? So, you can download this from neighbor.willhackforsushi.com here. And it's just one VM. Hey, and the slides are up there too, and the changelog from the presentation today, so you can grab all that content, neighbor.willhackforsushi.com, okay? If you're interested in adding new services to it, drop me a note. Or if you are a coder, but you have an idea for one, somebody told me they want to start doing, they want to translate every web page into different languages that people get, whatever. These are great ideas, and I'll help you with them, or you can develop them and contribute them so you can download this and start using it. We need to make sure your wireless card is supported, okay? And the best way to do that is to buy any of the cards that I have personally tested here, okay? These are all fine. You can buy them on Amazon, okay? Or you can go to this URL right here, linuxwireless.org, EN users drivers. And when you go to this website here, it has a list of drivers, and what you want to find is support for AP mode, okay? So any wireless cards that support this AP mode function, that's all we need to do, okay? Sometimes people have like the Alpha, the 036NH doesn't do AP mode. That's commonly the one that people email me about, and they say, oh, why doesn't it work? Well, that card doesn't do AP mode. But any of these cards would, or any of the cards that I specifically recommend here. Okay? And, just a cautionary tale, this is all fun and games. Krebs asked me one time, is wireless safe in an open environment if I use VPN and SSL and all these other things? No, it's never safe. There's no way to protect these open wireless networks. If there's somebody else on the network that's malicious, it's game over. There's no way to protect yourself, okay? SSL is great, but I can stop any SSL from ever working, meaning, users are just going to go back down to HTTP after that. Or they're going to use a mobile device that is vulnerable to sidejacking attacks, or any number of different scenarios, okay? So just apply caution on wireless networks, guest networks, this conference, things like that. I do have a class with the SANS Institute, Security 617, where we talk about wireless crypto, Zigbee, DEC, Bluetooth, and all sorts of other stuff. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'd love to answer any questions anybody has. Sorry.
Let's say that I've already got a malicious AP with a malicious VLAN on it, just pipe straight up to the internet.
Yep.
May do a thing or two with it. If I want to use this and I want to run it as a VM like on a hypervisor,
Yep.
if I just stipulate, ETH1 instead of WLAN2,
Yep.
is it going to puke when it tries to set up host APD?
Well, So the question is, let's say I am trying to do this in a wired man-in-the-middle type of scenario instead of a wireless scenario. Could I use this in my own networking environment? Definitely. You're not going to want to run that neighbor script. You're going to want to look at it, see where it says host APD, and just turn that off, okay? And then your input and output interfaces will just be the normal ones, okay? So a simple hack will change that for you. All it's doing is it's using IP tables, and it's saying whenever anything goes on port 80, send it to port 3128, which is the SQUID proxy port, and that would just work fine for your network. Just come up the line of host APD, say ETH0, ETH1, and that'll be perfect. Great. Any other questions?
So if I connect to a compromised access point and I try to make a connection to my work VPN site, can it be configured in such a way that the connection is successful and yet my information is being browsed?
Okay, so the question is, let's say I'm using VPN on a compromised open wireless network. Can my connection to VPN be successful and still be a target of this attack? Yes, depending on how the VPN is set up. So with VPNs, we've got this concept of split tunneling. So when split tunneling is turned on, stuff that's not designated for your internal network goes unencrypted outside the VPN. Your VPN is still established, but the only stuff that's encrypted is to your internal network specifically. So you want to check that option. You can disable split tunneling, but that's a big performance degradation because now all traffic has to go through the VPN. Any Facebook, any Instagram, any web traffic has to go through VPN and then back out your internet connection. So you want to look at that specific area. What I've done in a bunch of pen tests too is just said, I'm not going to allow people to do VPN. I'm just going to set up an IP tables rule. It's going to stop any VPN traffic from going through my network. And then users are still opening their web browsers. They can't connect to work. They're going to try OWA, okay, Outlook Web Access, things like that. And then at that point, then it's all opportunity for me. Great question. Sometimes people ask me how my neighbors feel about this, okay? My neighbors are really awesome. The Generis, this nice elderly couple that live across the street, they're wonderful. They call me from time to time, Joshy, she calls me Joshy. Joshy, this is Mrs. Generi. Well, Mrs. Generi, how are you? I'm good, but the interwebs is broken again. She calls it the interwebs, okay? And I say, okay, hold on, Mrs. Generi. I stopped doing whatever it is that's stopping them from getting access to the internet, okay? And then I say, oh, okay, try it now. You are a miracle worker, Josh. Every time, I'm going to bake 2 cookies. Bring it right over. I feel a little guilty about that. Those cookies are good. I know. It's hard to pick that up, okay? Other question? All right. Folks, enjoyed the conference. Thank you for coming to Rhode Island, my favorite state. And maybe we'll see you guys next year as well. Thank you so much.